Well, Gary, how do you sum that one up?
I gave me wet extra time, but definitely I gave me two halves for us. I don't want to take anything away from Montrose. First and foremost, I thought they were everything I thought they would be. They were well organised, fit. They were decent on the ball, good energy about them. Well, as I say, well organised, and they were everything I thought they would be. But for us, we were miles off it in the first half. We didn't get tight to the strikers. We didn't get close to the midfielders. Our passing was poor. Our clearances were poor. The gaps between our midfield and defence was poor. When it went up to the strikers, we couldn't hold it up. Everything that you could think would be bad in a half, we had it in the first half. And to be fair to the players at half time, I did give them a few strong words, but they had already gave themselves it. So I only needed to top up what I thought. But they were very disappointed with their own first half performance, and they were quick to point the finger at each other, which helps you as a manager because they realise they've not done well. Me and Dougie gave what we thought needed to be better, and I think no doubt about it in the second half. We dominated the second half, and if it hadn't been for 3 or 4 good saves for Alan Fleming, their goalkeeper, I think we'd have won the game comfortably in the second half, if I'm being honest. But as the game goes on, at 85 minutes, you're starting to think, is this got to be our game? It's not one of Dobbs' better games, he's the first to admit that, but he comes up with a bit of brilliance to get us back into it. Then in the extra time, it was just a case of making sure we didn't do anything stupid, and we only done it once in the 30 minutes. I think we gave away some slack play, and the boys hit a great shot, and Alan's tipped it onto the bar. And then it was us pushing. It was just a case of, is it going to come in extra time? And eventually we got 2. So as you would naturally expect, for about 70 minutes on, our fitness told you're playing against a part-time club, you'd expect that to, but I thought, we were really, really on top then. But, I had Alan at East Fife, and for one reason or another, it never worked out, and I ended up releasing him, and I just thought, this is karma, it's got to come back and bite me. How he played today, he was very good. I don't know who got their man of the match, but I'll be surprised if it wasn't him. So I've got mixed emotions. I'm delighted with the players that they've took a bit of criticism at half time and came out and responded in the right way, but obviously I can't just sweep the first half under the carpet, and there's a lot of video work for me and Dougie to do and relay back to the players, because the first half wasn't good enough. But I don't want it to sound a negative, because we're in the next round of the Cup. There was 8 games a day, and there's 8 teams went out, and we're still in it. So I said that to the players, make sure we're still in that draw to the next round, and they've done that, albeit it was a lot. We made it a lot harder with the way we approached the first half.
Montrose were a good, strong, probably one of the better teams we've played this season.
The Montrose were very good. Obviously on the lower leagues, I could seen the squad that Stuart's recruited. Good experience, good height, good energy, carry a threat going forward. Good experience with big Templeman up the top, and he was a problem in the first half. Even though the lads were well warned about him, he was still a problem. So no, they were everything we thought they would be. I think Stuart and his staff have done a fantastic job. They came in last year, turned the club around, they made the playoffs, and they're up in the playoffs again now. So we knew it was going to be a difficult game, but that's where it's vitally important that you start the game right, and you don't give them an incentive, and you don't give them something to hold on to. And we've done that. We got a warning at the start. Alan spilled a shot, and the lads should have scored, and they put it wide, but it wasn't a wake-up call for us, and we were lethargic, we were off the pace. And I'm just hoping to put it down to a bad 45, because in the second half, we were miles better. But Montrose, quite rightly, I'll get all the praise for today with their performance. People from the outside will see we were lucky because of the time we scored the goal, but we weren't lucky, because in the second half we dominated the game. Where we got lucky was we scored in the 89th minute or the 90th minute.
Clearly it wasn't the start that you wanted it to be, but they did keep going right to the end, and even Dobbs scoring in the final minute of extra time.
Yeah, that's right. We were screaming at him to keep the ball, but he goes and scores for a great finish. But what pleased me today was the impact the subs made. Linden had to come on at half time. Chris Kane's got a calf injury. We'll need to assess how that is. But I thought it's the first time probably I would say in my managerial career that I can remember, I thought Linden coming on at half time was actually our man in the match. And coming on as a sub, you normally, but I thought he was different class. He chased everything. He was a handful, and he frustrates me at times, Linden, because if he could play like that consistently, he would never be out the team. He's got power, he's got pace, he put himself about. He knows he's got to add goals to his game, because obviously as a striker he's going to get judged on that. But today he was everything you would want in a modern day centre forward, and I thought he was man of the match for us.
As you said earlier on, the objective was to get through into the next round, so that into the last 8.
Yeah, we're into it's a cup we want to win. Do you know what? I don't even know all the results. I think somebody said that St Mirren had lost to Wraith and Falkirk had won, and they're the only 2 results I know. But on our day we're comfortable, and we fancy we can beat anybody. But you know, that, as I say, that first half's a stark reminder to the players that we can't just pick and choose. We're not good enough, we're not a good enough staff, and we're not good enough players to just be able to turn the tap when we want. And I think today was a reminder, and with all due respect, as much as I praise Montrose, if I'd been playing a team in our own league today, I don't think we'd have got back into the game at half time. So you have to learn for these lessons, because if you know, football's it's harsh, and if you don't learn for things like that, then you get a rude awakening. So we've got things we need to work on, but I'm pleased with the character that the players showed, because a lot of players can go under when you go on and give them a bit of stick, and they maybe think, no, you know, in the down tools, our lads never done that. Right for the first ball in the second half, we went and pressed it better, set the tone for the second half, and it was just, for me, it was a matter of time when it was going to come, albeit it came a wee bit like Scotland the other night, a wee bit later than I would have hoped.
Obviously, getting through and getting the result today kind of sets you up going into that final game in the quarter of the championship. Yeah,
and listen, in the league, you know, we've slipped a little bit, you know, a couple of draws and 2 defeats in the last 4 games. It'll be good to get back home. It should be a good game. I think Dunfermline are bringing a lot of fans. They're an attacking team. You know, we've scored, I'd have to check, but I think we're the 2 teams that have scored the most goals in the league or this season. You know, we've scored a lot of goals between us, so it should be an entertaining game. Obviously, they carry threats. They've got a lot of good players, but you know, like anybody, we'll treat them with respect, but we certainly don't fear them. We'll look forward to the game next week. You know, I think we're the only team that's had 5 away games in the league out of the 8. You know, and we've had 3 at home, so we get our 4th one next week, and it's important we try and get 3 points to finish the first quarter strongly.
It'd be nice to get back home.
Yeah, we do seem to have been away a little bit, you know. I was actually thinking that today. It seems a while since I wrote any programme notes, and there's a lot to recap on, but you know, that's how football is. You know, for me, obviously playing in England, I'm used to the travelling. You know, you can be 6-7 hours most every other Friday, but in terms of Scottish football, yeah, we've had a lot of away games. We've been to Inverness last week, Montrose, we're at home, and then we're away to Brecon, which is based in Dumfries. It's quite a lot of travelling, and I've said this in my programme notes, I feel for the fans, and they come, you know, and quite rightly they gave us a bit of stick today. No problem at all with that. They travel far, they travel everywhere, they pay their hard-earned money to come and watch us, and when we play how we played in the first half, they're quite right to vent their frustrations, you know. But as I say, it'll be nice for them that they can get a home game next week. But there's actually a guy travelled in for Aberdeen. He comes to our home games as well, so we've got fans for all corners of Scotland, and you know, we need to do better than we did in the first half for them.
And at least they can go home with a win.
Well, the win, you know, that's what one of the fans said to me. Listen, Gary, it's not our best performance, but we're in the next round, and at the end of the day, that in a cup game, that's what matters. Albeit it's what matters to the fans. But to me, you know, I need to make sure that we don't play like that in the first half again.